Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day?
Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is August 27th, 2025. And I'll say, do not get caught in this next Bitcoin move. Okay, this next Bitcoin move will catch a lot of people off sides. It will catch a lot of people off sides, and it's the type of move where if you are off sides, you're out. There's no time to react. There is no time to get out of the way. So we're going to talk about that. It's pretty much a continuation of last episode's discussion. Also, we're going to look at the updated heat map for Bitcoin, Bitcoin liquidations, and how it supports our thesis. Finally, we're going to have a peek into our favorite indicators, the Bitcoin dominance chart, as well as the TOTAL3. What is it telling us about altcoins in general? And last but not least, I have a surprise for everybody watching this. I have a surprise for everybody watching this, so watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any more time. Bitcoin on the 4-hourly time frame. All right. Bitcoin on the 4-hourly time frame is about to catch a lot of people off guard. Lots of people are either really bullish or really bearish. Very few people espouse my both bullish and very bearish scenario trade thesis, okay? And either one will get you caught off guard. Let's start with the bullish thesis. Bitcoin is finding support where it's currently at, okay? It is finding some sort of reversal at these levels. And I do believe that is true. Okay? There are a lot of people that say, oh, Bitcoin looks extremely bearish because they've zoomed out for once, and they'd be correct. But then they're assuming that that bearishness pretty much happens in the following manner. Let's go into this. Here's what a lot of bearish folks believe. First, that what happened on the weekend was a really drastic and important sell-off that showed an enormous amount of supply, and that is correct. I agree with Peter Brandt. I agree with anybody looking at what happened over the weekend saying, okay, that is not normal. That is not what happens on a bullish chart, right? That's what happens when there's an enormous amount of supply and someone lets go of some. You just get these flash crashes. So that would really support the thesis, the higher time frame thesis, right? That all of this that we've been dealing with for almost 300 days is a massive distribution channel, massive sell-off event. Okay, let's go back on our 4-hourly time frame. So the bearish folks are looking at this and saying, okay, we've been in a channel ever since 124. That was the top, and that's probably going to stay the top, but because it doesn't look like Bitcoin is breaking out of this bearish channel. And the analysis there thus far remains and is valid, okay? Because that is true. I mean, let's do that together. Let's get rid. No, let's keep this channel. Let's put another channel because this is a small time frame analysis. And you can see that indeed Bitcoin's been respecting more or less the boundaries of this channel for, what is it now? About 2 weeks. For about 2 weeks, okay? So that seems true. However, remember, how do we break channels? You break channels by retesting the midline eventually and then breaking out of the channel. But typically, a bullish breakout starts from the bottom of the channel, matriculates to the upside in such a way that you first get a rejection from the midline, you break through the midline, you retest the midline, then you break out of it, and then you retest the top of the channel, and that's how you eventually break the channel. Let's look at what Bitcoin has done ever since. Well, so the first step is you start from the bottom of the channel, check, you hit your head on the midline, you retrace, but then you eventually break, check, and finally, before breaking out of the channel, you retest the midline. Okay, that is a midline retest. You may get another one here, but thus far, Bitcoin on the small time frames, ever since the 20, so let's say for about 2 days now, Bitcoin has been putting in the correct moves to break this 14-day channel to the upside. So do not be surprised if Bitcoin does eventually break this 14-day channel to the upside, my bearish friends. And for my pattern analysis folks, let's get rid, well, we can keep this. For my pattern analysis folks, what do you see? Well, when you talk about a reversal, high time frame, small time frame, you typically spy these reversal patterns, right? One such reversal pattern is your inverse head and shoulders reversal pattern. So let's go on the hourly time frame, zoom out, or zoom, in on the hourly time frame, and I spy an inverse head and shoulders pattern. My left shoulder, my head, and my right shoulder almost fully formed, if not fully formed, right? Because look at my right shoulder, boom, boom, boom. I have 3 legs of a correction here. That might be it. I would not be surprised if my next move in the immediate short term was to 117K, breaking the channel. Then, of course, I know that my final move to really escape the bounds, the confines of the channel, is to retest the top resistance of the channel as support. So right now, everything is looking like Bitcoin is indeed on the small time frames going to break out of this 2-week channel and make a reversal down here, as we said. Now, so for my people who are bearish in the immediate short term, I would not be bearish because the price action is telling you otherwise. Now, there are some people who are thinking, well, sure, it can move a little, but it's not going to move much. And I see a lot of people saying 117, that is the final, that's the final move. And why are they saying that? Well, because they're also reading, as we are, that Bitcoin has been in this channel, this horizontal orthogonal channel, for about 45 days. And the midline here is resistance because you're below it. And remember, to break a channel, the final move before you leave the channel is the midline rejection or retest. So rejection, if it's a bearish break, so that becomes resistance and you fall. So they believe that 117 is going to be the death knell, the final hit before Bitcoin falls down. But that doesn't make much sense because remember, you're coming back to this right here, 2-week support now, or sorry, 2-week resistance. If you do break this, your 2-week resistance now becomes support. So you have support to continue up. So again, I mean, you can look at this as a channel, and everybody knows that. But in actuality, it's not what you think it is. It's not just like a regular channel that breaks up and down. It's actually an incomplete channel. The fully formed channel goes something like this. That's the fully formed channel. The channel's not yet finished. That's the point. This is what I want to really make clear for my folks that are bearish on the small time frame for Bitcoin. The channel's not finished. That midline's not going to act as resistance like you think it is because the channel's not finished. But they, like myself, at the onset are seeing this as a finished channel. Like, this is the final move of the channel. It's not. There's one more to the upside. Okay, so on the small time frame, very likely that Bitcoin's breaking out. Very likely that we're going to at least 117K. Very likely that we continue and break 117K. So I want to direct your attention to my path. My path for Bitcoin. And it's based off of what I just explained. First, I believe that on the immediate short term, Bitcoin does break out of this 2-week channel, hits 117K, comes down, retests the top of this channel, which is around 112.5 as support, continues to the top of the channel at all-time high around 122, 123, 124, retest the midline of this channel. Now we're going to talk about my bullish folks. They're going to get super excited because Bitcoin is not only bullish on the small time frame, but for them, they're going to think, oh, this 45-day channel based off of my indicator 5,000 and my EMAs is going to be bullishly retested. So basically, we're doing everything that you should to retest the channel bullishly. We failed at the midline once. We overtook the midline and then retested it as support, and then finally broke the midline and through the channel. And we're gonna break through the channel. But the issue is here, they're going to get caught on this move right here. All right, once we break that midline at 117, once we break out from that midline at 117 and break through 122, break through 124, make a new all-time high, that's the real danger zone. That's where my bearish folks are going to feel vindicated, and my bullish folks are going to have a nasty surprise, because the only way you can see this swing failure pattern that I put in here, right? Look at my path. Basically, you break, but then you fail, and you make a lower low. That swing failure pattern, the only way they see that is if they have that higher time frame vantage, that higher time frame perspective of seeing, oh, there's a possibility that this is a sell-off, a massive sell-off event, and that on the small time frames it may seem bullish, but it's not. It's a fake out. There are going to be massive numbers of liquidations here, up and down, and in a short period of time. So do not fall for it, my friends. I'm telling you here and now, do not have that many subs. There are not that many people who are going to watch this video, but for those of you who do, please take this into consideration. Use the indicators that you like to use, whatever market cipher, I don't even know what indicators are out there these days, but there are a bunch of them. Whatever EMAs, and consider this, because a lot of people are going to lose a lot on this move, because a lot of people are going to go all in once Bitcoin does this. And it would make sense, right? Typically, that is a high probability, right, move where, okay, this is a 45-day affair. I'm going to retest the midline bullishly. This is where you go all in typically, but trading's never 100%. And there are a lot of nasty tricks and a lot of nasty turns of, there are a lot of nasty details. There's no like, oh, if this, then that. Very, very seldom. You always have to take so many things into consideration. That's why it's one of the toughest jobs. So once we get here, a lot of people are going to go all in. They're going to lose a lot. Not just in Bitcoin, in a lot of other assets. A lot of altcoins that people are going to really get bullish on right here. Remember that. right there at 117. Once we go to all-time high or close to all-time high, reject from all-time high, go to 117 and bullishly retest 117, a lot of people are going all in. A lot of algos are going to go all in. And they will be wrong, but not completely. Theoretically, that is a very high probability trade. But in this case, considering the larger perspective, the larger environment being bearish, it is not a good trade. This is why, it's going to be hard for indicators. Never mind. That's another digression I'm not going to make. So that is what I'm saying. Now, let's look at the most recent heat map. And again, you can get this for free on coinglass.com. I'm looking at the most recent data for liquidations with Bitcoin, and I'm using the super chart. Basically, it's an aggregate of all the major exchanges and their liquidation data. Okay, and I'm using model 2, which is my favorite. I'm on the 3-month chart, and what do we see? Exactly what my analysis is saying, that Bitcoin is very keen on this pool of liquidity. For those of you who don't know, price is attracted to liquidity pools. It's like electricity, it's like water, it's attracted to more of itself. So when there's a bunch of trapped money, liquidity, trapped money in short orders, in liquidations, whatever, it's going to direct itself towards that area. So right here, you have a massive pool that you can see to the upside between 125 and about 130. Okay, and that is exactly where we expect this move to the upside to find its target. Okay, so there's a lot of people that are going to get stopped out or liquidated between 125 and 130 according to this heat map, and that is actually the most attractive level from where we're at. Okay, if you look in terms of distance, it's the closest and the most the closest and the richest, the most plentiful level from here. Okay, 125 to 130, and the next one is down below our next target, which to the downside, from 95 to 90. You can see there's like a massive level. I mean, like insane right here at 95, which somebody's going to lose a lot on, because that looks like a very concentrated liquidation right there. Do you see it's very, very yellow? So that is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Bitcoin serving itself to a smorgasbord of liquidity between 125 and 130, and then all the way down to between 90 and 95, and then continuing down to our ultimate target. So liquidation levels are supporting that thesis. Now, if Bitcoin's likely to do what I just said, right, and look more closely, this is exactly what I feel we're going to do. Something like this. Up and then back down. And look, at the end of the day, look what you're making. It's not an accident. You tend to see these bearish reversal patterns, bullish reversal patterns at extremities. So here, you're going to likely put in a bearish reversal pattern, head and shoulders right here. And this head is going to be where we get all-time high, swing fail into the right shoulder, like that. Okay, so what's going to happen to altcoins if this happens, right? Let's say I'm correct. Let's say that's likely. Let's entertain that for a moment. Bitcoin is likely going to matriculate bullishly to, let's say, 125 to 130, let's say 128, 129, something like that, which represents from here about a 15% move. What's going to happen to altcoins? Well, like I said yesterday, you're going to see some altcoins move, and you're going to see some altcoins move big. Okay, now I'm pulling up the total 3 chart. Just like I said yesterday, the total 3 is a good indicator, but it's an indicator. So as with any indicator, you just have to be cognizant of the limitations. The limitations of the total 3 is that its representation it's more skewed towards the higher market cap assets. So it's not so much representative of your smaller players. So this is showing that it's pretty much at resistance, this chart right here, and that there's not much room to move. Okay, so if Bitcoin's moving 15% right now, judging by this total 3 chart, many altcoins, or let's be more clear, the larger players that are represented by this total 3 chart, which is basically everybody minus Ethereum, they're not expected to move much. Okay, 3, 4, 5%, 6%, 7%, single digits. Okay, whereas you will have some altcoins move hundreds of percent. That's where crypto really messes with you, because it doesn't make any sense. But like, stay with me here. The bigger players, some of the bigger players may move below double digits, while some other players may move 50%, others may move hundreds of percent in the time Bitcoin matriculates to 15%. That's what this chart is showing us right here, that there are some big players that are not going to move much. So keep that in mind. And that should also tell you, if Bitcoin's moving and altcoins, especially the big players, aren't moving that much, that should tell you a lot. Historically, that typically does not bode well for bullish continuation. Okay, last but not least, we're going to look at our Bitcoin dominance chart. And our Bitcoin dominance chart should tell us exactly what we just saw on the total 3. Basically, that the biggest players in crypto in the altcoin space are not going to move much because they're already at the top. They don't have that much headroom. Whereas Bitcoin is likely to move to make an all-time high, 15%. That would mean that we should see Bitcoin dominance go up, and that's exactly what this shows. Bitcoin dominance, right, has found, like Bitcoin, a level of support here, and you're likely to continue that level, go up, come down, right, and you're likely to continue that level. Don't expect Bitcoin dominance to fall much more. Do expect on the higher time frame Bitcoin dominance to continue to matriculate up. All that means, once again, is that there are big players in the cryptocurrency space that aren't going to do much. And many of the household altcoins may not do much of anything. But there are some, quite a few, that are going to do big numbers. So that's the analysis, guys. I hope this was helpful, useful. Like, share, and subscribe. Before you go, I have a surprise for you. I recently, maybe in the past couple weeks, came out with a new service called the Single Asset Analysis, okay, where it's basically me going over one asset. It has nothing to do with my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, which is a whole thing where, you know, we trade and I look at your entire portfolio and you have continuous access to me and all that stuff. This is different. This is a new service for people who have asked me in the past, hey, can you just look at this? Hey, I just need one thing for you to analyze. I'm only interested in this one thing. And that is to respond to that. So that's the Single Asset Analysis service. It's a new service. It's normally $120. You pay through any of the payment rails listed in the description, in the pinned comment, and within 24 hours, usually a lot less, I send you a complete analysis, pre-recorded, of that asset. It doesn't have to be crypto. Most of the time it is, but sometimes people ask me for like real estate prices, normalized for inflation over the past 50 years. People ask me for stocks. People ask me for all kinds of stuff. People ask me to analyze indicators. But I don't know that this is super accessible for everybody at this point, given the way the economy is and how everything's, going on. So for 24 hours, that is 50% off. For 24 hours, the single asset analysis is 50% off. Again, it's going to be, you send payment, so instead of 120, $60, send it through any of the payment rails, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Litecoin, it doesn't matter. Once I receive payment, you send me an email with whatever you want me to look at. As long as there's a viable chart, I can look at it. And if I have follow-up questions, I'm going to email you. I'm not going to say, oh, you didn't give me enough information, thanks for the money. No, I'm going to make sure I do the best job I can. I send it to you usually within a few hours, but maximum 24 hours. So within a day, you'll get it. If you have any questions, just ask. But typically, people are satisfied with just the recording as it is, because I do a thorough analysis of whatever I can see, small time frame, high time frame, medium time frame, all that stuff. And that's it. That's a single asset analysis. That's a surprise. This is a flash sale. It's 50% off just for the next 24 hours, because I recognize not everybody, one, has, just 120 laying around, and two, this is a new service that I don't know that everybody really understands what they're getting. I'm leveraging a decade's worth of my technical analysis skills, and sometimes one clear bit of analysis is the difference between you investing in something that's not going to return much and then selling off or pivoting into something else that's going to return a ton, right? So I think it's very, very well worth it, especially if you are just in something. You've maybe done the fundamental analysis, but you haven't looked at the technicals, and the technicals may not be that good, or maybe they are very good, or there's a resistance you're ignoring, or there's a support level you're ignoring, whatever. I've found, and of course I'm going to say good things about it, but one of the only reasons I'm doing this is because I think it helps people, and people have found that it's quite helpful. So that's it. As usual, all the other things are in the pinned comment. The crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, obviously the single asset analysis that I just talked about, and the BTC.C promotion that's 10% cash back on a minimum deposit of at least 500 USDT or the equivalent. All right, guys, that's it. Take care. Hope this was good. See you later. Bye.
I vocalize, too deep to localize, even when I'm right on the surface. You act surprised how I work this, but I can't lie. Many a good alibi. I'll catch you later. Visions are vividly enhanced with emphasis and amethyst to develop morale advantages which help us manifest magnanimous. We body vitals like evangelists. So listen when you're dealing with people who be revealing premonitions with precision. At least that's what I'm aiming at for now. I speak the language of the world, meandering throughout the crowd. Used to feel safe to say anything, but now it's a risk. It's hard for me to let go when all I can do is reminisce. Gone like the wind, here's where I begin. Should I smile or should I grin?